None of us would have to be here if those in government elected to represent us, done their jobs and served the people that they were employed to represent. We are their employers. Yes, that's correct. They serve us, not the other way around. But who exactly do they serve? Because they sure as hell do not represent the Irish people. They serve a wealthy international cabal who gets their orders from places such as the United Nations, the World Economic Forum and the European Union. Our politicians and journalists are like a merely globalist puppeteers for the globalist puppet masters, and they attack our weaknesses. Our kindness is one of our biggest weaknesses, and the international elite know this and they use it to weaken us, to manipulate our good nature. They use their propaganda machines such as television, radio and the newspapers. They push their narratives and stories that will make people very sad and very angry. They use your emotions to make you concerned about issues that they should not be of any of our concern, but concerned you are. They will offer solutions to help with your manufactured concerns, such as we take in more and more refugees or send all our money over to support these countries with aid. Spout how Ireland are morally obligated to protect other nations' people's human rights, while ignoring the human rights of Irish brothers and sisters who sleep on our streets, while ignoring real Irish citizens such as the Irish families struggling to heat their homes and feed their children with the cost of living thanks to the ludicrous green statistics!
We said it now!
Sustainability goals and other concerns such as the Irish people who cannot access essential services like healthcare, special needs services for their children, dentist appointments and even school and creche places. Where's the concern? Where's the outrage? Why do Irish people care more about people in countries that they can't even spell or point out on a map? Because, put quite simply, all the nice men and women on the TV told them to care. Every channel, every newspaper and radio station spinning 24/7 repetition of gaslighting stories to keep your focus away from how much your government screws you over time and time again. They use your kindness, but they also use your fears. Fears of a killer virus mixed with some more gaslighting, like stay home, save lives. Fears of nuclear war, and my personal favourite, the fear of climate change. Fear is what keeps the majority from speaking. Fear of offending people, fear that they might lose their job, or fear of being labelled a far-right racist by those nice men and women on the TV and radio, who I may add are reading a script written and edited by people employed by the same group of wealthy internationalist parasites who pushes the Communist Agenda 21. Groupthink kicks in and so does conformity. People conform with the major fear of being the minority, even when many of the majority agree with those who speak against the establishment. It's scary transition to speak the truth when a majority believes the lie. Words like racist, far-right Nazi, conspiracy theorist, all great little labels that communists like Leon Trotsky created to silence any dissenters who spoke out against the communist revolution of the time. And they still use those words today. But I can guarantee you this, if you don't lose your fears now, such as your fear of speaking the truth, you will end up losing a lot more, such as your freedoms and quite possibly even your life. In a free and open society, you have all kinds of opinions allowed and ability to express those opinions without being silenced by government, journalists or even law itself. But you don't live in a free society, and the politics of the day now is total socialism in regards to being controlled by government from birth to death. The control and manipulation of emotions through propaganda and foreign wars is immense. First we had Ukraine and Russian war. Now we have Israel and Palestine. Why now, I ask? Simply to keep you all distracted from the fire and dictatorship that's spreading in our country. And that dictatorship isn't fascism or the rise of the far-right mammies and daddies. It is, however, Communism, no longer called that, now it's labelled stakeholder capitalism by the World Economic Forum's leader Klaus Schwab, and is financed by the wealthy international cabal. That's why you see the NGOs fighting against us. They will be the local control and our voices within the new government system, because they are the local stakeholders. Do you trust NGOs to be your voice? He who controls the money supply of a nation controls the nation. People ask, are these wealthy international elites who finance and push the socialist agenda actually socialists? Absolutely not. You see, communism is not the creation of the masses to overthrow the banking system. Instead, it's the creation of the banking system to overthrow and enslave the masses. Instead, it is As an Irish nationalist, my heart goes out to all the innocent victims created by the warmongers, whether the victims are Palestine, Israelis, or even Ukrainians or Russians, and not forgetting all the other victims of the countless unnecessary wars waged by the wealthy internationalists. My thoughts and prayers go out to all the innocent men, women and children whose lives are sadly lost, to which I ask you all, can we have a minute's silence to pay respect to all those victims? I thank you all for staying and listening to me. My belief as a nationalist is that all the nation's indigenous people should put the welfare of their country first and foremost, and whilst I sympathise with the horrors and atrocities of other countries, we cannot interfere with other nations' policies, because that is internationalism. I believe that charity begins at home. If all Irish people are looked after and comfortable, then maybe we can afford some generosity to help others, but only if we are in a position to do so. I'll ask a question. If you only had enough food to feed your own starving children, and a neighbour's child was starving too and wanted your children's food, I ask you, do you take your own child's food to feed it to strangers? No. Exactly. Now if you had more than enough to feed your children and your neighbours, well then you do so. But you don't starve your kids to feed others. That's the internationalist or socialist idea. As I say, charity begins at home, and that does not mean necessarily that it has to stop there, but only if you're in a position to do so. In Ireland, I believe we need to put the Irish first. Those who died for Éire's freedom did not die so we could be destroyed by the international idea of forced multiculturalism and diversity and the replacement of the Irish people and culture. Bringing in foreign dominant cultures in large groups such as Islam brings a new demographic, and it will destroy the Irish national culture. But know this, good will triumph over evil, of that I am certain. But it will do so when honourable people in large numbers are willing to sacrifice. You see, there's a direct relationship between our willingness to sacrifice and the power that these tyrants hold over us. If you love your children, if you love your country and its culture, please fight for them. It's time to fight back Ireland, Erin Gabra.